Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents G.I. Joe Tuesday. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with the G.I. Joe Classified Series Retro Carded Duke. Let's get into it! Let's start things off with a look at the packaging, and here we have at the top, warning, don't stick things in your pie hole that do not belong there. And then it's for 4 and up, and then there's for the hook, G.I. Joe Duke, and I do wish it would say Real American Hero on there, but it doesn't. And then artwork that is not the same as, but very reminiscent of the original carded artwork for Duke. Nice big blister showcasing the figure and his accessories, that old classic Hasbro logo. Then on the back we have G.I. Joe, and then here's an actual file card with a little bit of information on it, and if you want to read that, you can pause it right here and read it to your heart's content, and it also has it in other languages as well. Then we have the cross sale Retro Recondo, Retro Scarlet, and this figure Retro Duke. Recycled stuff. Parents, GIJoe.com. Attention, don't stick things, especially in your French pie hole, that don't belong there. Warning, attention, Octoon, don't stick things in any other language pie hole that do not belong there. Don't give it to babies. Small print, fine print, legalese print, made in China print, symbols I'm not going to learn, and a barcode. And before we get through talking about the package, you can see how much thicker this is than the Walmart exclusive retro carded figures are, and these are much sturdier, and they look to be double plied, much like the Marvel Legends retro cards. So that, my friends, does it for a look at the packaging. Let's take a look at the figure and his accessories, and first up, let's take a look at his stand, and nothing we haven't seen in this line before. The G.I. Joe star and 2 posts and a little plaque area right there where they could have tampoed the name on the figure but opted not to. And you know, at first I was disappointed in that, and maybe that's okay because Duke might not need this stand and one of the other figures might need it, and now you don't have to have his name on there if you don't want it. Of course, they could also have offered these in a pack, but Hasbro's not real good about that kind of thing. Their action stand they've made available, but not the other stuff, really. Occasionally, other than what comes with the figure, very occasionally. But it's nice. It reminds me of the, I think it was the 25th anniversary stands, and those actually did have the names tampoed onto them. Let's start taking a look at the other accessories. And here we have handy dandy tweezers, and first up we have his sidearm, and it's a more realistic looking piece. Nice molded details, molded in black plastic. And then here we have his knife, nice silver paint app for the blade, and nice either gold or bronze for the pommel. And then I do believe this color on the handle is the plastic color that it is molded in. And then here we have, I always called it his grease gun. It's not really a grease gun, but nice molded details. I do believe we've seen this before. I think Stalker might have come with this piece. but I'm not 100% sure. I don't have Stalker right here in front of me, so I don't know, but I do think that is the case, or at least something very similar. But the magazine does remove, so you can pull that out or not, you know, however you want to do it. If you want to make it like he's reloading, you can do that. It does have a port in the end for muzzle flash effects, and again, nice molded detail, molded all in one solid color. And here we have the cartoon series standard issue rifle, and it looks like it's molded all in this color, and then it has this as a paint app. But I could have it backwards, but it just seems, this being the paint app, seems a little more economical, and that's usually the way that they go. We have seen this before. Scarlet, Retro Scarlet, and I want to say Grunt comes with this rifle as well. Maybe the Steel Iron Core. I can't remember the name right offhand. I haven't done the review yet, so there is that. But a nice looking piece nonetheless. Next up, we have his binoculars, which look to be styled very, very much like the classic Toys binoculars, at least the way that I remember them. All molded in one solid color. And let's see, he also comes with an extra set of hands, which are fists on an in and out hinge. Nothing we haven't seen before in this line, so I don't remember exactly who might have come with these hands first or before, but we have seen them before on the rare occasion that we get an extra set of hands with our Joes. But you know, I say that, and it's becoming more and more common that we're getting extra hand accessories. Now we have his helmet, which is super like the classic 3 3/4 figure helmets. You know, it's helmet and it's got this visor on it. Although Duke, I don't remember his helmet coming with a visor. You could put one on there if you had an extra one, and you could get extra ones back in the day in accessory packs. But the helmet is exactly the same as what I remember it should be, and not that I ever made him wear it much, because you know Duke is a pretty bad dude. He don't need no helmet going into battle. Yeah, he does. Everybody should wear a helmet. It's safety first. And then here is the backpack, which I think is the same exact backpack that comes with the Series 1 classified Duke. Although this one is in different colors, and it does have a couple of paint apps on it. The shovel is painted, and it has a tampo on it. It says G.I. Joe, Real American Hero. Wherever there is trouble over land and sea and air, G.I. Joe is there. So nice paint app there, and then the bottle lids are a paint app as well, and then post so that it can port into his back. Now let's take a look at the figure himself. And I have to say, I like the head sculpt. And the hair looks nice, but it's not quite like I remember Duke's should be. But, you know, I'm thinking more of the cartoon. And Super 7, I think their figure kind of captured the style for his hair, at least in pictures I've seen. Have they released a Duke yet? I don't know. I don't really keep up with that, but I remember seeing some pictures of a Super 7 Duke in the cartoon style, and it had that more high and tight crew cut style look. And the hair on this one kind of more reminds me of the haircut on the classified, although I don't think it's as much as that one. And I do believe the face sculpt is new, so there is that. He's got some paint apps here on the collar, on the inside of the collar, and then it comes around the outside all the way around. Got a paint app right here. Got American flag tampo right here. Paint app on the shoulder strap. And then a little bit of paint apps here for the belt. And then it looks like most everything else might be molded in the correct color plastic. Probably this part of the arm is molded in the flesh tone color, and then this is a paint app, but they did a really good job matching it up, it looks like. And that's the same on both sides. And then, you know, the boots are molded in one color, and then all of the leg, it looks like. And this is an overlay on the waist, and mine is it juts out a little bit right here at the belt, like it's not on there all the way, or maybe it was warped. So at some point I'm going to apply a little bit of heat to that and see if I can straighten it up. Although when you're looking at him straight on, you really can't tell it too much. So let's take a look at his articulation, and he's on that general classified series articulation scheme with the 3 parts here: the head, the neck, and the upper torso. And then there's a ball joint at the bottom of the neck, and then a dumbbell at the top. So, but with those working in conjunction, he can look up that high, he can look down that low. He's got some chicken neck, he's got some waggle, he can do the full exorcist. At the shoulder on a butterfly, goes back that far, forward that far, so pretty good range of motion there. Could be a little better, but this is pretty good. Then he can raise up at the arm at the shoulder, slightly better than 90 degrees. Cut here at the upper bicep for a full 360 degree rotation. Double hinged pinless elbow. I don't know why I'm thinking pinned. It's been a long time since we've seen a pin in G.I. Joe. At least a new one, a new mold. Some of the older stuff that's used in older molds still has some pins in it. 360 degree rotation at the wrist, and this one's on an in and out hinge, and this side is an up and down hinge. So very nice there. Cut here where the chest and the abdomen meet, and it gives you a little bit of hula. There's also a ball joint here at the waist. Now at this uppercut, you can get a full 360 degrees of rotation out of it, and here at the waist as well. And then you get all kind of hula, leaning left and right. You can lean back that far, you can lean forward that far. So all very good range of motion there. Drop down hinge in the hips, and he gives you the full splits, and he can kick forward. Wow, better than 90 degrees, it looks like. Slightly better anyway, a little bit better. And then back about 2 steps, maybe 2.5. Then there is a cut here at the upper thigh for a full 360 degrees of rotation. Double hinge pinless knee, and it gives you that much bend. And then at the mid shin there is a boot cut for another 360 degrees of rotation. And then at the ankle, tilts down that far, tilts up that far. Wow, so that's pretty good. And forward facing pin for rocker. That ankle tilts a little better than some Spider-Man in the Marvel Legends line. Now, as far as equipment storage goes, let's start off with his sidearm, and it just goes in this thigh holster right here. And this looks like a new piece. The holster, I don't remember seeing this before. I could be wrong. There's so many parts and pieces in this line now that it's hard to keep. It's almost as hard to keep up with as Marvel Legends, what's new and what's old, and what's been used before and what hadn't. And his knife, this sheath right here on the ankle, or at the ankle, the boot sheath, I guess. And I don't remember if the original Duke had this molded in or not. I do believe he did have the pistol molded in on the leg. Of course, it wasn't removable, it was just molded in there, but I can't remember if he had the knife or not. And as far as the binoculars go, they just hang around his neck. And then His backpack, if you want, you can line up the hole in the strap and the port in his back and port the backpack through it. You don't necessarily have to do it, but I will say this one isn't quite as bad to stick up as some other figures we've seen. In fact, it's not sticking up at all. So it adjusted properly. Now, when the thing is on there, the grenade gets in the way a little bit, and the binoculars don't quite want to sit in his midline there. As far as the two rifles go, or I say this one is a rifle, this might be more of a submachine gun type, and I think it is. He just has to hold these in his hands. You can pick one or the other, or do it like this and just use both, because it's Duke. And then as far as the helmet goes, it just fits over his head like a helmet should. You might have to work at it a little bit to get exactly straight, and then you can put that down or you can leave it up however you prefer it. And as far as the stand goes, you know, it's pretty standard for a stand. 2 posts in the bottom of his feet, and then 2 pegs on the stand. You just join them together. And then unfortunately no storage for his fists. I would kind of like to see him do this line where they have some kind of panel or something in the backpack if it's big enough to, like, extra bits and bobs like hands can fit in there. But there you have it, my friends. There's a look at Retro Duke and his accessories. It's time for my favorite part of a review, comparisons. And here we have the G.I. Joe Classified Series Retro Carded Duke with the G.I. Joe Classified Series Wave 1 Duke and the G.I. Joe Classified Series General Hawk. Here we have the G.I. Joe Classified Series Retro Carded Duke with the Valaverse Action Force, Swarm Trooper with Swarm Gear, and the Valaverse Action Force Scarab. For our final set of comparisons, here we have the G.I. Joe Classified Series Retro Carded Duke, with from the Marvel Legends series making his cameo appearance, Stan the Man Lee. From G.I. Joe Classified Series, the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Regal variant Cobra Commander. From Star Wars The Black Series, the Archive Edition 501st Legion Clone Trooper. And for a 7-inch scale comparison, from the Masters of the Universe Masterverse line, the 40th Anniversary He-Man. For final thoughts on the G.I. Joe Classified Series Retro Carded Duke, I have to say that when I think of Duke, this is the version that I think of. And even though I don't remember my original 3 3/4 Real American Hero Duke coming with the little visor piece on the helmet, he may have, and I just don't remember it. But I do appreciate the inclusion of that piece here. If the original figure didn't, even if the original figure did come with it, I do appreciate the inclusion of that very classic piece of G.I. Joe equipment. I like the little tampo on Duke's shovel, that, you know, wherever there's trouble, G.I. Joe was there. I do like the fact that, you know, he comes with his classic weapon, which I believe we also got with Stalker. If it wasn't this exact weapon, it was something very similar. And then again, you know, he comes with the cartoon rifle. So, you know, that's a nice inclusion as well. And the only pieces of his equipment I think that are new, I'm pretty sure the pistol is something we've seen before, but the binoculars are new. I don't remember having seen those before. The strap overlay, I do believe, is something new. The helmet and visor, I don't remember having seen those exact pieces before. The colors on this figure, I think, you know, they really go back to that original figure, and I do appreciate that. And it just, it gives it that extra kick of nostalgia. You know, there's not a lot of paint apps going on in this line, or this subline, I guess I should say. Not a whole lot, really, on some of the figures. Some Recondo has a few more paint apps, I think, because of the pants, or maybe I'm thinking of a different one. I don't recall. I haven't finished my review on Recondo yet, so I may be speaking out of turn about that figure. But, you know, again, there's not a whole lot of paint apps going on, but what there is, you know, it's where it's needed, like his little badge, his collar on the backpack, the flag tampo on his upper right arm, and just, you know, the inkjet that they used for the face is just, it's fantastic. And I really feel like this is a great addition to the line, even to the subline, because we definitely need a Duke to help charge, you know, get those G.I. Joe guys crunk up to go into battle with Cobra. And that field commander is Duke, at least for the most part. Not to say Hawk doesn't get out in the field, he does. But when I think of a field team leader, it's Duke, and maybe Flint a little later on. But if you're a fan of those original 3 3/4 Real American Hero figures, and you like 6-inch figures, then, you know, this is a pickup for you. It was definitely a pickup for me. I needed this Duke. And it's not that the Series 1 Duke, or even the repaint of the Series 1 Duke, is a bad figure. It's just that when I think of Duke, this is, like most of us, this is the version of Duke that I think of. So it's definitely, if you're a fan of the retro line, if you're a fan of Classified series and the original 3 3/4 line, then this is definitely a pickup for you. Well, that does it for the review. I hope that you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view that I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel through viewing. If you are interested in supporting my channel further, I'm now offering memberships at various tiers. Click the join button on my YouTube page, or check this video's description for the link and see if any membership offers are right for you, but only if you are in a position to do so. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you'd like to, you know, see more content, or just help the channel grow, or both, that's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.